We are losing interesting people because people are so hyper fixated on looking amazing, on being cool, that they don't want to be authentic.
I'm sorry, but if you are over the age of 18 and you are about to go put on an outfit and go celebrate Halloween, what the fuck are you doing?
I'm in the middle of doing my hair, but I have to say this right now. It has been so heavy on my heart. You guys disliking Addison Rae's Coachella look pisses me off.
They would have hated to see us in 2016. This is not what any of us were promised growing up into adulthood, because there's been a very noticeable shift in the culture. The weight of public opinion has infiltrated and is slowly ruining our culture.
I think one of the most depressing and alarming things about the digital age is the way it has changed our social behaviors.
Of course, it's not everyone in all places, but it is a noticeable shift enough for a lot of people to notice and talk about. We are losing interesting, creative, and unique because of this nonchalant crisis.
Hi, I just wanted to tell you, you're so pretty. Like, it's actually insane. You're so gorgeous.
Thanks.
Okay.
So I thought we would talk about it in my long-awaited cringe culture video while we get ready for another unfiltered Get Ready With Me. Hi girls, welcome back to Boss Girlified. It is your girl Tima, and my girl and I are going to a basketball game, and then we're going to a jazz night, so I'm really excited. So that's what I'm getting ready for. You know, I got a cute little sporty vibe going on. Oh, I'm playing with fire here with these white collars. Let's go ahead. I am going to be doing a moving giveaway because I do have a lot of products that I've been accumulating over the months that I've been trying to figure out the good time to get rid of. And now that I'm moving, I'm like, what better time? And on top of that, I actually want to add some more products, and I thought it would be fun if you guys help me pick what products you guys want. So it already has quite a few little skincare stuff, a Medicube skincare device, and I do want you guys to pick in each video leading up to the closing of the giveaway, which will be somewhere between November 22nd and November 24th. I will have you guys pick a product for each video leading up to that. Comment a makeup product that you've either seen in my videos, or that you've just heard good things about, or that you think is a great product for someone to win in the giveaway. Okay, let's get back into it. If you're not new to the channel, you know this video has been coming for a very, very long time, because a lot of us have noticed how different socializing has been. And I do want to say, I think a lot of us early Gen Zers, I'm talking about like 1998 to 2001, 2002, 2003, I feel like we were the last ones to have that balance of like going outside and like just living life away from social media. But then we were the first generation in middle school, high school to get our social media game started.
I want to talk about the differences that I have noticed in teenagers today versus like 2015, 2016. I've talked about some of these things before on here, but I just want to share all the things that I have gathered so far. Before all the teens attack me, I know this is not all teenagers, but this is just what I have noticed being a teacher of teenagers versus when I was a teenager in 2015, 2016. Up first is a lot of them use school as their main source of like social interaction with one another. And I get it, like school is always and will probably always be a place where there's just social interaction. That's what you do and that's what you look forward to the most. But like we didn't stop there. That wasn't our source of interaction. Like I did not see a lot of my friends really like all throughout the school day. We would all go to a parking lot after school or just hang out in our cars or go like ride around. On the weekends, we would all go do things together. Like there was always something to do. I never wanted to go home when I was a teenager. I was barely at home. When I got my license, bye. I'm riding around. I'm at the parking lots. I'm with my friends. I'm with them all the time. All we're doing is talking and hanging out and being teenagers. And at first I thought maybe it's because I'm in a different area. Like this isn't like a really tiny, small town. But no, I asked one of my old teachers from my small town. I was like, do kids still do those things here? And she was like, Gladys, no. She was like, a majority of them go home after school. Like, they don't do all that. They do not do any of the things that we were doing. I don't know what social events that like they do, because I have a cousin. He's a junior in high school. We both grew up in the exact same town. When I was a junior, I could not, like my mom could not get me to stay home. She could not get me to stay home after school or on the weekends, period. Especially like on the weekends. And I'm like, he doesn't like, there's nothing for them to do. I don't know if they don't want to do it. Like I'm like confused. I don't know I'm just like, what do they do? What do they do? What do they do? What do they do? What do the teens do? I don't know. I'm editing and I want to add in one last thing because I always tell my students, I'm like, no shade, no tea every time I talk about this with them, because I do not want them to think that like I'm being ugly, because I love talking to my students about like whatever, especially things like this, because it involves them. And sometimes at first they'll get offended, but then when we talk about it, they'll give me so many different insights, and it really helps me try to understand like, what is this? And most teenagers, like, they won't deny it. I mean, they'll be like, yeah, no, like there is something different. I don't know what it is either, but it is something. And it makes me really sad sometimes, because I think about like great songs or great movies about being a teenager and being young, and those all involve other people. It doesn't involve getting on TikTok or getting on Snapchat or getting on Instagram. Like, it doesn't involve any of that. It involves being with people and creating memories.
So I think because of that, a lot of us older ones are kind of looking at the younger Gen Z. When I say Gen Z in videos, it's not like everyone in Gen Z, but it is just a pattern that we've noticed come about from the younger people in comparison to the older people. Oh, I forgot my freaking piercing eye drops. I just did my lash clusters too. Hopefully that doesn't disrupt them. By the way, these lash clusters have to be my favorite of all time. I've been ordering these for like 3 months straight. Socialization in real life, online, and even between relationships has become visibly strained. And there are multiple examples of this. I mean, where do we even start? One of them being this pattern of our generation just not knowing how to respond to friendliness.
Hi, I just wanted to tell you, you're so pretty. Like, it's actually insane. You're so gorgeous. Thanks. Okay. No, I mean, I thank you. That you are too. Oh my gosh, I like that tattoo. Is that Avenged Sevenfold, like the band? No, I don't even know what that is. I just got the tattoo. What? Oh, I was just asking. Like, it looks exactly like the logo. I just thought it was really cool. Okay. That top is so cute. Where'd you get it from? I don't know. Like, probably Walmart or like the mall somewhere. I'm sorry, I was just asking. I mean, it's really nice. I mean, you can literally look it up. Like, it's just a solid black shirt. There's nothing special about it. I just like the material and the way that it fit on you, so. Okay, well then look up black crop top. Like, I don't, like, what are you asking me? Weird. Fuck you, fucking weird. I was thinking this weekend, do you want to maybe go on a hike, maybe do some arts and crafts, watch some movies, like find something really fun to do? Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, that just sounds really fucking boring. Like, that, do you not have fun? Like, going out and partying and drinking and doing all that? Like, you're a loser. You're so weird.
There's this running gag that when you try to like compliment someone, like, hey, I love your top. Like, where'd you get it from? Saks. Girl, I take that shit back. Actually, compliment revoked. But no, it really do be like that sometimes. Notice how I didn't say all the time. Okay. But as someone who moved around a lot, if you know, you know. But I had to grow up very friendly. I had to learn how to talk to anybody at any time in any setting. As one of those girls, I definitely learned how to make a friend in any room. So as one of these people, I have definitely noticed after 2020 specifically that has become more difficult.
The reason why young people are so weird and awkward and they can't hold a conversation is because of cringe culture. And cringe culture is a direct byproduct of conservative ideologies, okay? Conservative ideology wants you to stay in your small pond. They want you to stay in your hometown. They don't want you to go anywhere. They don't want you to get a college education. That's liberal indoctrination. Don't dye your hair. That's libtard shit. Don't do anything artsy or creative. That's libtard shit. That's cringe. Be a man. Go be a welder. Go build shit. And like, obviously we need those roles. There's always going to be people filling those roles, but I just think it's so interesting. Like, growing up in a conservative environment. I grew up in Texas. I lived in the Woodlands. I've lived in Dallas. I've lived in Scottsdale. Those are all very conservative bubbles. I mean, Dallas is blue in a lot of areas, but the areas that I was in were filled with conservative white people. And conservative white people are some of the most boring copy-paste people I've ever been around. They all dye their hair blonde. You have to be as blonde as possible, as tan as possible. You have to wear Lululemon, daily drills. You all dress the same. The men just wear Peter Millar. All they care about is golf. And like, growing up in a conservative environment, like, if you think of the popular kids in high school, like, it's cool to be dumb. It's cool to be a jock. Sports are more important than anything. But when you look at areas like the Bay Area, San Francisco, the cool kids in these like liberal areas It is cool to be smart, okay? They think you're stupid and, like, irrelevant if you're stupid, which you are stupid. But, like, in conservative areas and in the South, there is a serious case of tall poppy syndrome, which is, like, don't be too much, be quiet, speak when spoken to, be seen, not heard, especially for women. And all of this rhetoric really, really harms men the most. And obviously, I'm not, like, gonna coddle them any more than they already are. But all the women I grew up around, most of them have left their hometowns and gone to big cities and done things. But all the men that I know, not all of them, okay, but a large portion of them are still at home. They look like they're en route for fatty liver disease. And it's like, who is this benefiting?
And it's for a multitude of reasons, but this is how I go about socializing when I'm out and about. Now, of course, everyone has their off days where they're just trying to get in and get out. But for the most part, I would say that there's definitely a base level of socialization that goes into stepping outside of your home. There is a base level of socialization that goes into going to the grocery store, going to anywhere, especially when it comes to social settings. But one thing I have noticed is that usually when I go to a space, for the most part, whenever I walk past someone, I don't just like act like I don't see them. I usually smile, or I look at them first. I look like towards their eye area, which of course some people struggle with eye contact too, but that's a whole nother thing. That's again, a nuance that I don't have time to go into right now. But there are nuances, but for the most part, I'm speaking facetiously. If they look up at me, I smile. 9 times out of 10, they smile back, or we both smile at each other at the same time. And if that happens, I usually say, hi, good morning, or like, sometimes I just keep it at a smile and keep it pushing. It really depends. But as one of these people, I can say for sure that after 2020, I've noticed a decline in people even wanting to acknowledge the presence of other people when they are out in public or out anywhere. And again, that could be for a plethora of reasons. I know sometimes a lot of us, we have our bad days, and sometimes we might be a little bit insecure, or like we might feel like the world is against us, but that's a whole nother conversation. Again, perception is your reality. So if you perceive other people to be a harm and a threat, you'll put yourself in a lot less predicaments to even see the kindness that other people truly do have. Again, I'm speaking as a Gen Z. I'm Gen Z. I'm speaking for my generation. A lot of us don't really have the social skills anymore. There was this trend where the older generations were calling out Gen Z for the quote-unquote Gen Z stare. And a lot of us were like, well, actually, a lot of you guys are just stupid as hell and we don't really know what to say. As someone who worked in the service industry for, I want to say like 6 years, like that was my main job when I was in high school. I worked, and even my freshman year of college, I worked at Dairy Queen. That was like the only job I ever had. So trust me, I get it. I really, when I tell you guys, I understand. I get it. People, genuinely, all you can do sometimes is just there.
Just smile and wave, boys. Smile and wave.
The absurd things that I've heard, I can only imagine what most people hear. But yeah, there is definitely a side to it where it's like, okay, is it just a Gen Z stare where Gen Z doesn't really know how to socialize? Or is it just that you guys are so ignorant or, make our lives so difficult for no reason that we just don't really know what to do? But I think there is another side of it too that a lot of people kind of brush over, which is that yes, a lot of Gen Z does have problems with socializing.
The Gen Z stare is just people telling us that a large portion of our generation lacks social skills. As someone who's considered older Gen Z, I'll be 24 in about 2 weeks. Yeah, it's true. A lot of y'all have very, very poor social skills. And then a lot of you will complain that you have no friends, no community, and that you're so lonely, blah, blah, blah. But you treat any social interaction like a chore. Saying good morning, saying hello, making small talk and having conversation. A lot of you feel like you're above it. Here's the part that a lot of y'all don't want to hear. A large portion of Gen Z is just boomers reincarnate. The only difference is y'all have traded in blind traditionalism with performative progressiveness.
As a fellow Gen Z, yes, you guys do a stare, okay? And it's not just when somebody is being stupid to you in customer service. I hate to say it, but I think a lot of you also just don't like doing anything. You guys don't like interacting with people. You guys don't like tiny conversations. Like, you guys act like it's so mentally taxing. And I think because of therapy speech and just online, like, you guys are very good at taking words and almost like weaponizing them and telling people like, well, that's because blank, that's because blank, that's because blank. It's, you guys kind of give excuses for just simple, tiny interactions that you have to do as a human. And that's why we don't have community anymore.
I think the first step of improving with that is addressing it. And I think, you know, we've heard a lot about this loneliness epidemic, and I think that comes from both sides. And I think we have to realize, like, it's not really just about men loneliness epidemic, women loneliness epidemic. It's a loneliness epidemic in general, especially post-2020, post-COVID. I think we do have to address that, and we do have to think about the part and the role that we might be playing in it. And I'm saying this as an older sister, like as a girl who's been through that loneliness period in my life. There was a point where I had genuinely so much friendship trauma. Like, I could honestly make a whole video about that too. I've had friendship trauma to where it genuinely, no one talks about this too, it genuinely put me off from friends. Like, I stopped talking to all my friends for like 2 years straight, and I'm still trying to get those connections back with my older friends. And I've been making new friends, and you know, I did have a period where I was like, oh my god, I'm so lonely, but I'm making myself lonely. And I started to develop this like the world's against me type of mentality, like, oh my gosh, like, oh yeah, girls are this, girls are that. And yes, to some extent, as someone who, you know, has had bad friends, I've had terrible, awful friends, I can say that there are definitely some girls out there that just make it seem like the whole entire friendship pool is terrible. But those are just a few bad apples. Realizing that really does help improve it. But I just realized that, you know, Gen Z, with this whole Gen Z stare, we just kind of ignored the other side where it's like, okay, there might be some validity to this critique, but we're just gonna pay attention to this part because it makes us look good and the older generations look bad. And I think a huge part of this is because everyone is so nonchalant. Everyone wants to be like so cool, like they're too cool to do stuff, like everything is cringe, and it's coming from this surveillance, this hyper surveillance of the internet. We were never meant to see this many people's opinions at a time.
This is my 11th year as a professor. And what I've noticed, you know, in a very unsettling way, is that our students, at least in America, I can't speak for other places, they are more and more self-conscious of trying. There's a kind of surveillance culture around social media. And they would say, I want to be a poet, I want to be a good writer, but it's a bit cringe. Right? This cringe culture is that I don't want to be perceived as trying and having an effortful attempt at my dreams. And as a teacher, that's a horrifying sort of report from the field. And so I think they are absolutely scared of judgment. And so in fact, they perform cynicism because cynicism can be misread, as it often is, as intelligence. You know, you are disaffected, you're too cool, you've seen it all. And so they pull back. But in fact, they are deeply hungry for sincere, earnest effort. They often do it privately. They don't want to admit to each other that they're actually trying really hard to do what they want to do, but amongst their peers. I think sincerity is something we deeply hunger for, particularly young people, but we are embarrassed when sincerity is in the room. And the classroom is a wonderful place to eradicate that, but it's up to the teacher because you do have some sort of authority. You do have to set the tone. And if you set the tone for your students and you welcome them, that you won't judge them, that they can be sincere and earnest without being condemned or ridiculed for it, and that they can try their best and it won't be cringy to do so, then you truly liberate them towards their best self.
We are able to see what everyone thinks, which we should have never been able to see, honestly. But also, people have gotten so comfortable. It's almost like social media comment sections have become an echo chamber of people's thoughts. And the thing is, with thoughts, there's a reason why you don't say everything you think. But with social media, for some reason, the climate has become so intense that now people are comfortable saying things that they wouldn't say in real life. A good example of this is this video that I literally just came across of this girl talking about how she's just going through it with her skin.
Just got back from a nail appointment, and as you guys can see, my skin is completely breaking out. It's been doing this for almost the last month, and it's something that I have definitely been struggling with. I go to the nail salon, I'm recording my content, my little clips, because the girls love a good nail vlog. A stranger comes up to me and she's asking me, am I an influencer? And I say no, because I don't see myself that way, but I do make content, you know, I'm on TikTok or whatever. And so she starts to ask me more and more invasive questions, and then she finally asks me, so you're gonna post a video with your skin looking like that? Mind you, again, this is a stranger. What struck me about this is, one, the comfortability of people to comment on things that have nothing to do with them, and two, to feel so comfortable to ask someone that you don't know a question like that. I feel like there was a bigger point to that interaction, which is this video here. I used to break out pretty badly when I was pregnant and after my pregnancy, and it did somewhat look like this. So I don't know if it's hormonal, I don't know if it's bacterial, I don't know what's going on. For those of you who are always giving me compliments and always telling me how great I look, I am so appreciative of that. And I just want to be as transparent as I can be and let y'all know that I don't always look like that, you know? And neither does anybody that you see on the internet. Nobody looks their best 100% of the time. I say this with full humility because I'm not a big influencer or anything like that, but I do have a community on here, and I know that there are some women who look up to me, and I want to show you guys the real of it all. No beauty filter or anything. Like, this is the current state of my skin, and it's okay. When it comes to social media, you never know what somebody is going through behind the scenes, and you never really know fully who somebody is just based off of their social media alone. It's been challenging over these last few weeks because it's been Halloween. I've had, you know, birthday parties to take my son to, and things that force me to interact with other people. If you are someone who is going through something that's causing you to feel insecure or not your best, know that you're not alone, and know that that is completely normal. I know that there is a lot of pressure to look a certain way, especially in today's day and age with social media, but you are just as valuable as a person with or without perfect skin, with or without the best clothes, with or without the best hair. None of that matters when it comes to who you are as a person. Always give yourself as much grace as you can, because the world is a harsh place. Low key, this is like a pep talk for myself as well, because it is still a challenge, and I know it's easier said than done, but keep on keeping on. Everything is temporary. It will pass and things will get better.
And as someone who's gone through it with my skin, no matter what I did, and I still battle with my skin to this day, it makes me so emotional thinking about this, because people are so cruel. Even though, yes, it's not just an online thing, there are definitely a few people, usually for me, at least in my case, it's like family, friends type of thing, or just family, honestly. That's the only people I ever heard anything from about my acne. And I know some of them are watching. It's just really frustrating, because it's like, yeah, there are people that say it in real life, but it's like, sometimes you can't do, like, it's not that you're not taking care of your skin, it's just that there's hormone issues. Some people are just prone to acne. Like, people don't realize that you can do all of the things. You probably are doing a lot of the things, but acne is acne. It's unpredictable. A lot of people, like this video explained, are very comfortable saying things that are so messed up that you just shouldn't say to somebody. It's not necessary. Another example that really puts this surveillance into effect is the policing of people on the internet. I've talked about this in my past like 2 videos, I'm pretty sure, but people just police everything. I'm not even kidding when I say this. I have probably seen a think piece about any type of thing that you possibly could think of has a think piece, or that you couldn't think of that has a think piece. Like, anything is a think piece nowadays. It is really truly concerning.
I'm sorry, but if you are over the age of 18 and you are about to go put on an outfit and go celebrate Halloween, what the fuck are you doing?
Just in case you feel behind, there's grown men getting ready to get dressed and finding costumes as we're speaking. They're trying to find costumes to wear for this Friday or Saturday to go to a Halloween party.
And of course there are some things where it's like, yeah, valid. You know, I'm not saying that all think pieces are just like so unnecessary. I'm just saying that there are think pieces about the most ridiculous things, and it is truly heartbreaking some of the things that people are feeling comfortable enough to say online. And it's no wonder that everyone is scared to do anything, even in real life, because they're thinking, oh, if this is what people are saying online, they're definitely thinking it in person.
This week I've been writing about how everybody feels like everybody's mad at them, and I think it might have something to do with the fact that everybody's mad at each other online. I feel like so many of us have this like mindset that everybody secretly hates them, or everybody is secretly mad at them, or they're about to get in big trouble. In any other era, that would be paranoid, but I think this era, it's actually like a fairly common mindset, and I think it's actually kind of understandable. We're living in an era of unprecedented surveillance. We're effectively big brothering ourselves and each other every single day. You could go for a walk, you could go to work, you could go to a coffee shop, you could go to your friend's house, you could go to a concert, and you could be filmed unknowingly by someone on the street, you could be filmed by someone's glasses, you could be filmed by someone's doorbell, and suddenly that video could be posted online and reach thousands and even millions of people. And it's all completely out of your control. And that's just what we do in public. We willingly share so much of ourselves and the people around us on a day-to-day basis. We film ourselves crying on the internet, we document our children's lives, we share screenshots of arguments with boyfriends, with roommates. We share everything in the hopes of getting some engagement. And in that process, we open ourselves and the people around us to the court of public opinion online. And we know that the internet can be a very cruel place. I think the internet has proven that the advice, "don't worry, nobody's thinking about you," is completely untrue. Because we can see from Reddit, we can see from the comment sections of any social media platform, we can see through Twitter that people are absolutely thinking the worst about you, worse than you probably thought about yourself. And even if you don't post, even if you just kind of observe, I think by watching how people interact online and knowing how people think about each other and treat each other, it has to have an effect on our brains. I think it's actually quite a reasonable thought that everybody is mad at you and hates you when everybody online is mad at each other and does hate each other.
Like, one of these hyper policing videos that I saw recently was her talking about herself, but again, this climate is just so like everyone is surveilling everyone, so of course you're going to be surveilling yourself too. But I remember seeing this video a while back, I don't even know if I could find it anymore, of this girl talking about how cringy it is to run on the treadmill. Aren't there only two things that you can do on a treadmill? Walk or run? Especially because I live in Arizona, okay? So I don't, listen, I'm not a huge cardio girly, okay? Shoot me, I'm not a huge cardio girl, okay? I do like to go on a cool little jog. I have been going on a few jogs now that it's been cooling down, but I live in Arizona, okay? So if I am gonna go on a jog, it's gonna be on the damn treadmill, especially during the summer. Hello? I'm gonna go on the treadmill. But even if it wasn't for that, I would never look at someone. I mean, I've seen some pretty interesting workouts being done on treadmills, but I just keep it at that. I just like glance, happen to catch my eye, and keep it pushing. I try not even, I'm the type of person, I really try not to even absorb it into my psyche, because that judgment will reflect onto yourself. That is the reason why everyone is so scared to do anything, to have fun, to be normal, to socialize even. Because they are so busy judging other people that they think that they're being judged just as harshly, when in reality, they don't even realize that that's not normal. That's not normal to like be constantly judging other people. And it reminds me of this video that I came across where it was like, the minute that you judge someone else, you're instantly having less fun than that person.
Viewing everything through a lens of ironic detachment and judgment is killing your ability to enjoy this very brief life that we have. Every time you walk past someone on the street and you make fun of their outfit in your head, a part of you dies. Every time you see a book for sale and you think everybody who enjoys that kind of stuff is ridiculous, the author who wrote it and everyone who has read it is having so much more fun than you while you are glaring into your phone pissed off. You don't get any points for walking around feeling better than anyone in any way for any reason. You just die faster and with more frown lines. Louis Ferdinand Celine wrote in Journey to the End of the Night that all we have at the end of this life is a grimace that took our whole life to develop, and he would know he was a horrible human being. Don't be like that.
You're instantly more miserable than that person that you're judging. Now, are there certain things that are just completely out of the social norm that people probably should be judged for? Yeah. But if it comes to dancing at a club, like dance clubs, what? You're supposed to dance at a club?
Embarrassment is an underexplored emotion. Go out there and make a fool of yourself. Like, feel that feeling, the fear of cringe.
That's
and
really
then go
good.
out there and do it.
Dude,
Because
that's
everything
really
you want
good.
is on the other side of that.
And what's even crazier about it too is that people will, these are the same people, our generation are the same ones screaming, oh, 2016 must have been a time, the 2010s, oh my gosh, 2000s must have been so lit. Y'all couldn't do it. Even if you tried, you couldn't do it. We could not replicate the 80s, or we cannot replicate the 90s, the early 2000s, the 2010s that everyone loves so much, because we are so focused on cringe.
I'm in the middle of doing my hair, but I have to say this right now. It has been so heavy on my heart. You guys disliking Addison Rae's Coachella look pisses me off, because you guys are always like, oh, 2020 is gonna come, or not 2020, the 2000 is gonna come back, 2010 is gonna come back, the 90s, Y2K is gonna come back. None of y'all have done that right. The only person who's done that right is Pink Pantheress and Addison Rae. I was there. I was a teenager during the early 2000s, and like, I was a baby during the 90s, but you know what I mean. I was there. None of you guys are doing it right, and I'll tell you why you're not doing it right. And this is going to tie into the conversation that's being had on social media lately of being like a tryhard, or like the nonchalant argument on how this generation is like too nonchalant. This is how we got into beige aesthetics. This is how we got into fisherman core shit. Okay, that's the groundbreaking shit that you guys are coming up with. No tea, no shade, but that's the reason why everything is fucking beige, everything is modern, and people are dressing like fishermen. You guys are never gonna get the big bling that you want, and I'm gonna tell you why. It used to be, you would create your art, you would post your content, you would take your photos, you would have your outfits, you would post them on the internet, and then you would leave. You would go to your desktop, and you would post them on your MySpace, and then you would go touch grass. We don't do that anymore. There's so much weight on like social approval and like the jury of public opinion that someone can post their little comment and be like, ew, this polka dot shit looks like shit. And then that can get 5,000 likes on that comment. And then anyone who sees it is like, oh, I better not dare to go out there. I better not dare to do something unique. I better not dare to do something that's over the top and fabulous and wow, and maybe unconventional. Maybe people don't get it yet, but that's the whole fucking point. If Lady Gaga first emerged in today's day and age, y'all would chew her up and laugh her out of the room. Okay, and it was already hard enough in 2007 when Lady Gaga emerged, but if she emerged today, y'all would chew her up and spit her out of the room. And that's why everything is so fucking boring.
Being yourself is gonna be very, very challenging. I really do think though that, and I always do like to have this silver lining in my videos though, because I really do believe that us having conversations about things like this will start to reflect into real life, and we will really start to implement a lot of these changes. And I think that, you know, trends are cyclical. We all know this. So there's definitely going to be a time where we're going to be like, all right, you know what? F this nonchalant shit. Like, let's just be ourselves. So there is that silver lining, and I really do think that with all of us starting to speak up about it and starting to be more aware of, you know what, maybe I am being too judgmental. Maybe I need to stop being so mean on the internet, or maybe I do need to like reflect a little bit before I comment, you know? I think the better off we'll all be, and I think that there's some hope. There's some hope, I will say. Another example is one that we've talked about, and I actually have a whole video. If you haven't seen it, you should definitely go watch it, where we talked about club culture and, you know, clubbing and even concerts and things like that. Now, I don't know why, but I guess a couple people assumed that I just go out all the time. Someone literally went and commented on my other page, go read a book, who cares if the clubs are dying? I'm like, girl, I'm actually an avid reader. I just flew through the Mistborn series, and I was very sad that it came to an end. I was thinking about reading the next trilogy, but it's just not gonna be the same. I know it's not. Like, the way it ended, it was just beautifully tied together. Great series if you're looking for a good fantasy. And The Will of the Many, what was the second book called? Oh my god, I pre-ordered it, y'all. I cannot wait to read it. I've been waiting for this book for a year, you guys. I have a book literally on my nightstand. The last book of this series, This Woven Kingdom. It's the last book of This Woven Kingdom. I'm on the last few pages, and then my Will of the Many book will come in. Anyway, besides the point. But it's like, you know, you can have multiple interests, right? I am the type of girl, I love to go out and dance, and I'm also not a huge drinker, but I don't judge people for going out and drinking and going out every weekend. Like, that's not my cup of tea personally, but girl, go out. Like, if I was that girl that could be outside every weekend, I probably would, okay? anyways. But even with nightlife, there's so much policing around it now. It's cringe to go out. And God forbid you actually go out and dance too. Oh, girl, you might as well just die of embarrassment right there on the spot. But yeah, even when you go out, I talked about how, you know, I went to this concert, and it was this one concert, by the way, the K-Tronada concert. Y'all have put me on. I am going to another house concert. I'm going to an indie festival that I'm really excited for, because I've really started getting back into my indie music bag. Very, very exciting stuff. But if you're looking for places that the vibe is immaculate, I'm talking about everybody was just vibing out, try out some new genres. But when I went to this one specific concert, Rio the Young OG, I love him down, okay? Like, he's probably the artist I listen to the most. I was super excited. I went, and I was getting blocked by all of these, like, all of the tallest men in the building. I'm not even kidding. Every single man over 6 foot decided to just bulldoze everybody else. Shorter men, mostly shorter women. Because I've noticed too, a lot of these type of men specifically who feel comfortable enough to bulldoze past a group of people usually are more disrespectful to women. But that's another conversation. But they bulldoze past me, and they're just standing there. I can't even do it that high, but just standing there with their phone as high as they can possibly have it the entire concert. And it's one of those things, again, where it's like, do you have to stand in the back, or like be courteous of the fact that people are shorter than you, or, you know, not hold your whole phone up for the entire 2-hour-long concert? No, you don't have to do that. But it is a level of socialization, a level of getting along in a society that we all have to do when we are out in society. It's one of those things too, again, where it's like, you don't have to hold the door open for people when they are entering a building behind you. But if you didn't do it, it would probably be a little rude. Would it not? Even, it was so funny. I was with my friend, and we went to the thrift store. She's probably watching this video now. Hey, girl! We were going to this thrift store. It was one of our very first few hangouts. We were going to the thrift store, and we walk in, and we're just talking, you know, and the girls in front of us, they were definitely younger than us. Maybe like 18, 19 maybe. They walk into the thrift store, and she's the girl on the phone, the one that opened the door, she was on her phone. She didn't even hold the door open for her friend. And we were like, I'm telling you, it was like back to back to back to back. It was her friend, me, my friend. So we're like all walking in at the same time. This girl just swings the door open and just walks through. Do you have to hold the door open? No, but it makes a lot more sense if you're already holding the door. If you're the one holding the door and there's someone coming in behind you, just prop it open for like 2 seconds. That's just like common courtesy. The craziest thing too is I know I'm gonna have someone arguing me down about that. Like, what? We all as humans do require some level of socialization. That's how humans have evolved, and that's how we've survived. And we do live in a society. We do have to get along with each other to some extent. I think I need a little bit more blush. I'm like so blush crazy, y'all, but like, I don't care. I love me a good blush, all right? When I tell you guys that 9 times out of 10, people just look straight down when they go out in public, it's really sad. And again, that's why I'm saying I've noticed it personally. Me, in my environment, in my city, it could be different in so many different places. I do, oh my God, speaking of which, today at the gym, I saw this baddie, like tall like me. Like whenever I see another tall girl, I'm like, girl, we need to be besties. Like, tall model, body T, and you know, I looked at her and she smiled at me, and I was like, oh hey sister, what's going on? But that little social interaction just made me so happy, and that's how it is for all people. Like, feeling acknowledged and feeling like a sense of community is so important to developing well-rounded emotions and social skills. I think the root of it is that we were not conditioned to see this many people's opinions on everything. And because of that, we feel heavily surveilled. And that's why when people are super judgmental or super harsh or super critical, especially to me on the internet, I'm like, I ain't even tripping about it, because that's gonna backfire on you. You automatically are going to be a lot more judgmental on yourself too. That's why it's really important to be careful on what your words say, where your energy goes, because that only affects you. It only really says something about you when you go out of your way to judge someone else. It doesn't say anything about the person. That's the thing. It just tells the world that, hey, I'm a negative Nancy, and I probably think that way about myself too. And it's crazy that we're still on the topic of Halloween, but it reminds me of this video that this guy said that basically going out for Halloween is like super cringe, especially if you're a grown-ass man. And if you're over 18, you should not be picking out your Halloween costume and going to a freaking Halloween party. I'm sorry, aren't a majority of Halloween parties 18 or 21 plus? Like, everything is cringe. I think a large part of this surveillance culture is also having to do with the state of the economy right now, which is understandable to a certain extent. But again, it's like, I understand, but we have to find a better outlet for our frustration. And I feel like, honestly, a lot of our generation is starting to do that, because we're actually starting to see change on a grand scale. We're starting to see changes in politics. We're starting to see people more invested into helping out certain countries, making sure that people are aware of the things that are going on in the world right now. And this is just a shout out, because I am super like aware and cognizant of everything that's going on. I've done my research, I've done my part. So I'm telling you guys, hold on to your technology for as long as you can. My iPhone 13, or what is this, 12 Pro? I don't even know what it is, honestly. I've held on to this for 3 years and it's already starting to get janky, but I'm still gonna hold on to it for as long as possible, because we need to do our part. We really, really do. And I think that our generation is starting to truly find a good outlet for that frustration that we have. But don't let it be that judgmental spirit, because it will always backfire on you. Trust me. I've known people in my family, personal life, that are super judgmental, or were super judgmental to me, but they are the most judgmental to themselves. Anyways, girlies, thank you so much for watching today's video. It has been your girl Tima. The giveaway details will be in the description box down below. And yeah, guys, I will see you guys on another video soon. Bye, girls.